going on, guys? Bit of a different video today. I'm going to show you how to mix and master your type beats. I just want to show you my process to how I mix my beats and then master it to the point where it's loud enough for YouTube and then loud enough for other people to use it once they buy it off BeatStars. This is a very subjective thing, so my way is not the right way. I just want to say that now because every different genre, every different beat requires a different mixing process, right? So this is what I usually do for my Noble Woods x partynextdoor type beats. I've been doing this for about 2 years now, so I'm pretty confident, and especially getting feedback from artists, I'm pretty certain that, you know, my way of doing it is adequate. Is it perfect? Is it correct? Who knows? But if it sounds good, it sounds good, and that's rule number one. Alright, so I just made this little beat right here, nothing crazy. We got about 6 instruments. Just play a little snippet of the beat so you can get an idea as to how we are before and after. So this is with only melodic effects, so there's no mixing at all, no leveling, it's all just the same. So you could probably hear it doesn't sound too bad. As a matter of fact, it sounds pretty good already. That leads us to step number one: sound selection. Yes, you need to have good sound selection. You need to use the right kick, the right snare, the right hi-hats, the right pad, the right melody, the right bass, everything. It just needs to be correct. As long as you have good sound selection, your beat should sound fire with or without any mixing at all. As far as VSTs, you can use whatever you want. I use a lot of Analog Lab, my own kits, and then I use Omnisphere presets. They always are like super high quality. As far as the drums, I personally like to buy my drum kits now. Ever since I copped this, can never say his name. All the sounds in here are like super, like, you know, high quality, and this is just one of them that I've been using. And these are all paid drum kits, right? So, like, you know, I prefer getting paid ones because, you know, most of the time producers actually put in their effort and really actually make a good kit. So step number one, sound selection. Now onto step number two. It's pretty much, it's just leveling, right? I start off with my bass and kick first. Kick, I always leave it normal. So whatever kick I drag through from, you know, the playlist, I put it in. I make sure I don't touch this volume at all unless it's clipping. Bass, usually the synth bass I like to use, like, this is from Lifestyle's Loveless Bank, I think. And usually these VST plugins, they're pretty loud, so for the sub bass, I drop it down all the way to around 60 to about 50, yeah, like 50%. Yeah, let's just hear what it sounds like. With the snare hi-hats, like, because they take up more of the high frequencies, you want to turn them down lower. This is a visual representation of where the hi-hats and snares sits. So if I play it, see how it's, you know, it's taking up a lot of this space here, right? What our goal is to make sure the sounds that are in this area low enough to the point where you can still hear it, but it's not actually like piercing through your ears, if that makes sense, right? So what I like to do is, usually with my hi-hats, I'll pan it a little bit to the left, and then I'll take the volume knob here, and I'll jot it down to around 40 to 50%. I might turn a bit harder there. There you go, that's good. I usually like to have the snare just a little less louder than the kick, just so it hits a lot harder. So I'll probably turn the snare just a little bit, just to like 65%. We'll just try that. Theoretically, it's not that loud, right? Because it's such a high frequency, it sounds loud to our ears. There's a whole scientific video on this. Alright, so move the face cam. Just ignore it. I know it doesn't make sense for it to be here, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to put it here. Where we're sitting at individually in the current volume meter. So let's listen to the kick. So before I master it, I want my kick to sit between 6 to 9 dB. So I like to have mine sit just in between 15 to 21. This right here is perfect. And then for my snare, I want my snare to be literally under 9 dB. So it's just underneath the kick, or the exact same. Doesn't matter. Again, like I said, it depends on what type of track you're making. So if it's like that partynextdoor, West District type of style, you want your snare to be a little bit louder. If you're making like a really soft and mellow type of beat for like a female artist to sing on, like a Janae Aiko type beat, you want it to be quieter, right? So all together. So from here, I highlight all of my drum instruments, right? Not the bass, just my drum. And how I do that, I'll click on the track, highlight it so it's nice and green. I'll hold Control and Shift. No idea what it is on Mac, I'm sure you can translate that. And I click the hi-hats, click the snare. So once I highlighted my tracks from here, I go down to just a random empty insert, right? And I right click this little arrow, then I press route to this track only. Usually what I like to do from here now, for my drum bus, I will take the actual mixer track thing down about 6 dB. I'm going to use the Fruity compressor. This is free, by the way, so you don't need to stress. Left click the presets, and then we're going and pressing the drum preset. This comes with every single, FL version, so you should have this preset. Click on that, and that's essentially going to bring it up another 9 dB and sort of compress the whole thing together so it sounds nice and tight. Don't worry, we're going to make it louder as we go along, okay? It's the melody. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to leave my camera down here so I won't be jumping around the whole screen. So now this is what the melody sounds like with that, and lovely. Every melody that I ever make, doesn't matter if it's a piano, doesn't matter if it's a synth, vocals, whatever it is, I always take out about 177 hertz. So I do like a nice little high pass cut here, just because I have both my instruments routing to the same track here, so they're both on 7. I'm going to route it again to a different track, do the same thing, right click on the arrow and then press route to this track only. Again, we're turning this down, but instead of the drum bus where we're turning it down -6, for the melody bus we're turning it down -3. Fruity compressor again. This time I'm going to choose the complete mix. And that's going to again bring it up by a lot. The last few things that I do now is panning, and there's not much to do in this case since I'm only using about 6 instruments here. I take my melody bus and I widen it out by going on this little knob here, and I just take it to about 20 to 30% of separation, nothing too crazy. The bass, I mono it by about 45%. The reason why I do this is because usually most synth basses have like those harmonic frequencies at the mid-range, and you don't want to mono that, you just want to mono the sub-frequencies. Snare, fully mono that, and kick, fully mono that. I know what I said about the sub-frequencies, but here with the snare, you don't want a snare sounding good on your right ear and sounding weak in your left ear, if that makes sense. Let's hear how it all sounds without the mastering effects. It sounds really good. Let's listen to it again and just assess that it's hitting max at -3 dB. I don't want it to hit at 0, and I definitely don't want it to hear it clip. So this is the next step, which is the mastering stage. Before you put any effects on the master channel, just make sure it's not clipping. So let's listen to it one more time and just make sure it's hitting just around or under that -3 dB. So surprisingly enough, despite all these plugins that I have here, I actually don't use any pay plugins. What I do is same thing with the EQ. Again, I'm just choosing that preset. So I'm right clicking presets over here, 40 Hertz to 18K Hertz cut. Next, we're grabbing Maximus. Everyone has this, I promise. And usually, depending on the beat, I just honestly, presets, clear, master, RMS. That's really all you need to do. It masters it a little bit weirdly. I jump into the low end, lower the pre slightly. I'll probably take it down by 1 dB. And then the highs, I'll lower it again and take it down by another 1 to 1.5 dB. So let's hear what that sounds like now. A bit of distortion there, so I'm going to lower the low end again, just take it down another notch, and then the mids, I'm going to lower that. I'm going to lower that just by 1 dB. We'll try that. High end, I'm not mad at that. We'll keep that there. Lastly, Fruity Limiter. All this does is just making sure it's hitting 0. Theoretically, it already should hit 0 on Maximus, but this just kind of confirms it in my mind. Also, I like to use Fruity Limiter because I can see a visual representation of the wave file. So then I can just adjust it. If it's too quiet, I'll push the gain knob up. If it's not, just kind of leave it as it is. That's pretty much it, man. This is how I like to mix and master my RNB beats. Take what you want out of it. Everyone has their own personal mixing style as well, so there's no right or wrong. This isn't right, this probably isn't wrong, I don't think. As long as it sounds good to you, as long as it's hitting on YouTube, it's hitting on your phone, it's hitting on the car speakers, then you mix it very well. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. If you do enjoy this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want me to do next. We've got plenty of more bangers coming from you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Let's listen to the final product.